When did someone you know take it too far? One friend had a bunch of us guys over to play games while our wives or girlfriends went out for a girls' night. We were drinking a little except the guy who was hosting. He got trashed. We were playing Risk and he got eliminated. Instead of taking the L and hanging out with the rest of us who already lost, he gets mad and pulls a gun on the guy who eliminated him. He lost a lot more than a game that night. Nobody wants to be near him anymore. He made a 5-year-old watch as he burned all his stuffed animals. Details vague because it's so specific. The weird rich kid at my high school got into a heated argument with some guy at a party years after we graduated. He was always weird and made odd comments, but no one thought he could do more than drink or turn cans into bongs. My old classmate ran the other guy down with his car and backed up over him. I have no idea if my classmate is still in prison or not, but I have no interest in finding out more. My group of uni friends hanged out at their student accommodation building. It has a separate bedrooms but a floor-shared kitchen and living room. On that day, someone from the floor joined. Everyone in the group that stayed there was on the same level and 5/8 was them. It was this guy, skinny little dude, and this sweet nerdy-looking lady who was about our ages. He kept drinking our glasses without permission and then proceed to go with, "Oh, was just wondering that tastes like." I told him to ask first. But holy shit, he kept hitting on women and eventually on the nerdy lady and she rejected him. I sat next to her just so he couldn't, but he wasn't physical, was just talking like a creep. When we finally got back from going out to a bar little concert, we all came back to the student building, and while we all sat down in the shared space, some people put some food on and then he tried to drink her tea without permission. At the end she told him to leave her alone, and when he did he picked up a big kitchen knife, proceeded to indicate a slashing motion to his wrists and made a sad face. One of only 2 times I ever snapped at someone. What a fucking prick. I never done it but struggled with being close to doing it, but some people there did and I knew. It just annoyed me so much I talked him off for 3 minutes straight. He was moved from that specific floor week after. I was a +1 for my old roommate, who was in her old high school friend's wedding in Mexico. The day before the wedding I had to pay a doctor to visit our room BC I had gotten a lot of brown recluse bites. I was in so much pain and couldn't sleep. But in the middle of the night I got a call from a family member that my uncle, who was like a second dad to me, had just been killed by a drunk driver in a car accident. I was shocked, devastated, and very upset. Didn't sleep at all. The next day when we were getting ready I was tearing up and my roommate screamed at me, "You're not doing this at the wedding." I said no and just kind of avoided her the next few days. The last day we were there she brought it up and just kind of mumbled sorry to me under her breath. That was all she had to say. Another addition to this horror was my best friend at the time lost her mother. But she was mad at me for stealing her thunder. Like she'd get noticeably upset anytime anyone showed me sympathy. My ex-BF wanted to propose to me, so he planned a prank on me, and the prank was getting kidnapped and moved to a place. He was there one knee, and I was crying hysterically and I almost peed my pants when he asked me, "Will you marry me?" My name. I rejected, and then the people who kidnapped me were actually his friends, and when I saw his smile fade away he just said, "Great, now you ruined it, happy?" I screamed, "You kidnapped me, and you expect that I will accept it? You made me cry and almost have a heart attack, you freaking monster." His friends sided with me, and one of them said, "I think you took it too far. How do you expect her to accept your proposal?" And ever since I broke up with him, he started putting flowers at my doorstep, bringing me flowers to work, stalking me, etc. Once, I bumped into him, and he kissed me like we were a couple, and I kicked him in his nuts, and another time, I saw him at the rooftop of my apartment on the edge. He was screaming, "If my name rejected me again I will jump." Long story short, he kept doing crazy stuff for me to accept him again, but he got arrested and stopped it. A girl in college was in one friendship group and I was in the other group. For whatever reason she and her group of friends fell out, so she implanted herself into my group of friends. Within a week she had cut her hair and dyed it to match mine, started dressing like me, and even drew on a tattoo to match mine. It was completely random as she wasn't like this in her old friendship group. If I dyed my hair, a day later she did too. I always wondered how she somehow managed to wear almost identical clothing until I found out she lived facing the tram stop so she would see me and get dressed. I didn't speak with her, but it didn't stop her or my friends from speaking, but things took a turn when I was out once and a random guy approached me telling me he was excited to meet me, and I asked who he was, etc. Turned out she had made a dating profile, used my photos, and was telling these guys where I would be. It's been 12 years and there are still profiles of me online. I have her blocked on social media, and was never actually friends with her, but she is still managing to take photos and use them on dating sites. I now only have Reddit, which has no personal information, and Instagram, which is private, and I don't have any family or old friends on there. I've been asked how I know it's her after all these years, and all I have to go on is that she admitted it when asked all those years ago, but now I don't have proof, but it's weird, it's still ongoing. My abusive mother? She kicked me out of the house this past March after an argument due to something I went through regarding an ex. She called me a danger to the family, which all my siblings adamantly assured that I was not, and said something along the lines of, "Be thankful your father's agreed to take you in because otherwise you'd have nowhere to go." My dad said that all my siblings texted him, saying what she did was super wrong, and it even got my younger brother, who treats me like he hates me at least 75% of the time, to hug me and assure I wasn't a danger. I have not and will not ever forgive her for doing that to me. My dad used to make me do frog hops when I was in trouble. I got an F on a test and he was super pissed. He made me do 100 frog hops in 100 seconds. Every time I fell or couldn't jump he'd reset the time. I ended up doing somewhere around 500 hops, very poor form after about 150. The next day my legs were so sore and weak that I couldn't walk. He then made me walk 2 miles to school and made me do more hops when he found out I was late. That was 20-something years ago and I still have panic attacks when I have sore muscles. I have a close friend named Jamie, who's always been the life of the party. One night, we were at a casual get-together, and everything was going smoothly until Jamie decided to prank everyone. It started with harmless jokes, but then, without warning, Jamie swapped the regular snacks with extremely spicy ones, without telling anyone. Most of us had a bite, thinking it was the usual party mix, only to feel the burn instantly. Some were running for water, others for milk, and a few even ran outside to cool off. It went from a funny prank to a chaotic situation. People were upset, and Jamie didn't seem to realize how far things had gone until one of us had an allergic reaction to the spice. They puffed up and the ambulance was called. Safe to say he was a bit more reserved from that day on. I knew this girl named Tim and she was always seeking attention. Once, she shaved off her head to tell people she had cancer when she was just mentally challenged. This really upset me because my best friend from another state had died from cancer, and I ran to the bathroom crying. She knew this because they were Tim's cousin, and not just any cousin, but her favorite cousin. She didn't seem like she cared one bit about them. I don't think anyone spoke to her after that.